Well, folks, 13 weeks of the NFL season is in the books. The New England Patriots finally on their bye, and they go out of the first part of their season in style. We will talk about that game, plus all other 30 teams in action, all 32 teams in action, I should say, in week 13. And we will talk about those games as well as a look ahead to the week 14 games, and we will give you picks for each and every single one of them. Josh Morris, he's back on the show today. It's an all new Terranadome, and it starts right now. The first interception led to a field goal, and the second one led to a touchdown. You lost by 3. That's why you don't turn the ball over. We see it every week from multiple teams. It happens all the time, Patriots. Yeah, Pats +8, Pats money line. Book it, baby.
Stop it. No.
Buffalo's going down.
No.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Respect the flying Elvis. Buffalo's going down. Denver money line. I like Denver money line too. I like Denver money line too. I think this is the week for Philly. Denver is better than that 2-2 record for
Yeah,
sure.
Denver's defense is pretty good.
It is. That's gonna be a low-scoring game over there in Philly. I think I would hammer the under on that game too.
Known as fair and square throughout my years, so I growl at the living foul. Black to the bone, my home is your home.
Well, welcome to Terranadome. Terranadome, and it starts right now. And welcome into the show, folks. Of course, my name is S.Terrana. It's the Terranadome. Week 13's in the books. Josh Morris, he's back on the show. We weren't sure we were going to have him today, but glad he could join us and keep himself on schedule. How's it going?
We're here, and I am pumped. Let's do it.
Okay, he's pumped. His hat's a little crooked, but that's okay. We don't mind. And yeah, no, it's still a little crooked, but that's okay. I'm just being a dick. That's one swear. Yeah, that's you almost look hip now, or like from a '90s boy band, but with the country bumpkin beard. Anyway, that's improv for you. Not very good at it, folks. Anyway, here we are again. We're gonna start by recapping some stuff in week 13. The recaps, I'm trying to keep them shorter now so we can focus a little bit more on the actual stuff that's coming up. Like there's a game tonight, for example, that I think is a very interesting one. Especially if Amon-Ra St. Brown does not play for the Detroit Lions. We are going to start last Thursday night. Yes, I know it's a New England-based show. Yeah, see, there's the wrinkle. Patriots didn't play till Monday night. We are saving the best for last in this show this time, folks. That's right, the best for last, and literally the best team in the league record-wise. But everyone says they're going to be one and done. They can't win the Super Bowl. Okay, I've heard all that crap before. Just saying, I've heard all that crap before. Anyway, different era, I get it. We'll talk about it later. Anyway, the Thanksgiving slate was a pretty good one, Josh. Two really good games. And personally satisfying for me was to watch Joe Burrow whoop the crap out of the Ravens in the nightcap. But that's just me because I love Joe Burrow. I can't stand the friggin' Ravens. So here we go. Green Bay at Detroit. Both teams came into this game with 7 wins on the season. The Packers, that stupid 7-3-1, and Detroit at 7-4. I believe the home team was favored by 3 or something like that in this one. I should remember that from last week's notes. I believe it was either 2.5 or 3. It was 2.5. I remember now. We were both on Green Bay in this game, Josh. We were both right. It certainly helped that on Detroit's first drive of the game, Amon-Ra St. Brown, top 5 receiver in the NFL. I think that's a pretty safe thing to say. We love the Sun God on this show. He goes down like on the 3rd play of the game with a low ankle sprain. He does not come back in the game for the Lions. I think that made a difference. But Josh, this is a really good game. And the Packers, for the record, seem to be the only team in the league that can slow down Jahmyr Gibbs. Gibbs, 20 carries for just 68 yards in this game. Green Bay 31, Detroit 24. Dontavian Wicks went off out of nowhere. You never know who's going to go off for the Packers and their receiving core and the way they spread the ball around. Something I found odd, Josh, with the score being 31-24 is the Packers decided to gamble on 4th and 3 on the Detroit 45, where if they had not converted on it, Detroit gets the ball back with just under 2 minutes left, and I think they had their timeouts too. But they could have easily gone down and tied the game there. What did you make of that? What's the takeaway from this one? Do we know who Green Bay is yet? And is Detroit certainly has taken a step back.
Yeah, and we kind of talked about it before the year. Losing those 2 coaches was going to be a big deal. And then you lose Amon-Ra St. Brown at the beginning of the game. killed me in fantasy. But
Me too. Me too. Yeah.
so that was huge, and that's huge for their offense. If he doesn't play tonight, and I'm gonna before we even get there, hot take: if Dallas wins tonight, I think they make the playoffs.
I think you're right. We will get into it later, but I like Dallas tonight.
Yeah,
I don't, Amon-Ra hasn't practiced this week. I don't think he's playing.
no,
If you guys
I don't
see
think
this,
he can, being that like quick on an ankle.
no, I mean, and granted, it has been a full week, right? Because, 2 Thursdays back to back. So granted, it's been a week, but you never see receivers play. If he was an offensive lineman, sure, whatever.
Take
Take
it
it up,
up and
shoot him
throw him
up,
out
go
there.
out. You can't be running and cut, and especially not with the type of receiver that St.
Yeah,
Brown is.
he's a great route runner, getting that quick separation. And
That's
ankles is he's pretty. He'd be a decoy at that
That's his
point.
bread. That's his bread and butter. I don't see him playing tonight. So you fantasy people, if you see this in time, and we're both fantasy people, but of course, in the friggin' league that you and I are in, this guy's long gone. But go pick up Isaac Tesla and start him tonight. If Amon-Ra St. Brown does not play, that's deep league play for you. I'm probably starting him in the league where I have St. Brown tonight. That's how bad my receiving core is in that league. But anyway, in his absence, Jameson Williams stepped up and looked like a real receiver in this game, which seems to be kind of up and down for him. But he had
Oh,
a
wait,
career,
7 for 144 or something like
seven
that.
catches, 144 yards, and a touchdown for Williams and the aforementioned Tesla. That's Tesla with 2 A's, guys. But if you just type in the regular Tesla, it'll still show him. So don't worry. It's a white dude in a headband. You can't miss it. 2 catches, 35 yards, and a touchdown for him as well. David Montgomery ran one in on the ground. But they did bottle up Gibbs once again. Jared Goff, 20 and 26, 256 and 2 touchdowns. Jordan Love played really well in this game. When he doesn't throw off of his back foot, which he does way too much, and it's the only real flaw in his game to me. But when he doesn't, when he stays on time and uses his mechanics, he's really good. 18 out of 30, 234, 4 touchdowns for Jordan Love. If he's going to play like that, the Packers are a serious threat.
Yeah, they have such balance on offense.
They
have
really,
Emmanuel
really do.
Wilson, they have Josh Jacobs. Their receiving core kind of reminds me of Buffalo, except they're a little higher end.
Yeah,
Like,
they're
I think
better. They're better.
They have better talent, but again, it's not like a true number one, right? Like I wouldn't consider any of those guys, especially because they don't have Jaden Reed right now either. Like none of those guys are top tier receivers, like top 10, right? I
No.
don't think any of us would consider that.
Nope.
But they have talent across the board, right?
Yes. Yep.
So they can spread the ball out, like you said. You don't know if it's going to be Wicks or Reed when he's healthy, or Watson because he just came back and he's playing pretty well.
Yes.
So I think their offense has great balance. I think who did they lose? Tight end.
Tucker Kraft.
Yeah, losing Kraft was huge for them.
Mhm.
But I think they've now found like, okay, we don't have him. This is what our offense looks like. You know, they have great balance, and I think that's because LaFleur, coming from that Shanahan tree, runs the ball well. Then off the play action pass, they do a good job, and their defense has played pretty well this year. So, again, they're like that Dallas game. They've had some eggs, where you're just kind of like, what was this?
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Carolina. Yeah.
Yeah, right. You know what I mean? 16-13 at home. So it's like, and then what the Philadelphia game 10-7. So they've thrown up some eggs, but at the same time they've had some pretty good games as well. This is a division rival who was a playoff team up until they lost. So I don't know. I don't know if I'd put, my eggs in that Packers basket, but I mean I think they're going to be firmly in the playoffs.
Absolutely definitely gonna be in the playoffs, but I don't trust him either. Couple of high end. I think they have really could have you can make the case they have 3 number 2 receivers and a couple of number 3 receivers. When you spread the ball around to 5 different receivers, you're gonna have success. Those Packers, they will take on the Chicago Bears, and we're gonna get into the Bears in about 10 minutes here. 6.5-point favorites. That one's very interesting. We'll talk about that line later on as well. That game's at 4:25 next Sunday. We've already alluded to it. The Detroit Lions will play the Dallas Cowgirls tonight, and I don't think we can call them the Cowgirls anymore after what we're just about to talk about coming up next here. Detroit 3-point favorites. I like Dallas a lot tonight. And speaking of the Cowboys, they go on Thanksgiving Day. Traditionally, that second game on Thanksgiving Day is always the Cowboys. They face the Kansas City Chiefs. We both sat here. Well, you didn't sit here last week, but we both picked Kansas City pretty squarely, thinking Patrick Mahomes is going to show up at a big spot, national television. For the record, Mahomes did show up.
I was going to say he played very well.
He did. Unfortunately, his defense didn't show up.
Yeah, that defense, I saw a stat on it. They are like 29th in the league right now. On getting off the field on third down. And that's kind of been a staple for them over the last 2, 3 years. Like their defense has been smothering.
Yeah.
This year they can't get off the field.
Yeah, it's been a different story this year for the defense, it seems like. But I'm going to give you, first of all, I'm gonna throw this out there first. Did you know that this Kansas City Dallas game on Thanksgiving was the most watched regular season game in NFL history?
I did not. That's crazy.
54.7 million viewers at its peak, which is absolutely incredible. By the way, the Detroit and Green Bay game peaked at 47.7. So
Wow.
big numbers. Dallas no longer bums. 2 straight wins over legit opponents in a 4-day span. That's
Yeah.
impressive stuff from the Cowboys.
Very.
So we wrote off the reports of their demise. I think were premature.
Yeah, and their defense over the last 2, 3 weeks has looked really good.
Out of nowhere. Well, I wouldn't say really good. They let up 28 in this game, but it is Patrick Mahomes. We'll get there. Let me give you some numbers on the Chiefs. They're now 500. They fall to 6-6. We haven't told you yet, folks. I'm sure you don't know this, but the Cowboys win 31-28 over Kansas City on Thanksgiving. The Chiefs are 500, third in their own division, despite a top 10 offense and top 10 defense, and they have a plus 73 point differential. All of that tells me maybe don't let them get into the playoffs if you can help it, because they still might be dangerous if they can clean it up on third down defense like you just talked about. On the flip side, Dallas is now above 500 with the second best offense and the second worst defense. A plus 9 point differential for the Cowboys. Chiefs defense couldn't do anything on this day. Dallas 457 total yards. And by the way, the Chiefs had 8 penalties in the second half. I thought it was odd when they interviewed Andy Reid going into the locker room at halftime. He said, we got to clean up the penalties. They only had 2 penalties in the first half. So what did he know was coming? That's weird. Anyway, there's always weird stuff we can point out. They didn't record a sack in this game either, by the way. Dak Prescott, 320 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an INT. If you recall, that INT was on the opening drive of the game. Mahomes turned it into a touchdown 2 plays later. Javonte Williams, 80 total yards and a touchdown through the air. CeeDee Lamb's best game since coming back from a high ankle sprain. 7 catches for 112. George Pickens, 6 catches for 88. Patrick Mahomes, 261 yards, 4 touchdowns. 4 through the air for Mahomes. Not his fault. 30 yards on the ground. Mahomes has 22 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. He had 26 and 11 all of last year. He also is on pace. His next rushing touchdown will be his career high for a season. He's on pace to set a new career high in rushing yards for the season. But he got just 58 yards from Kareem Hunt on the ground. Isaiah Pacheco, non-factor. Rashee Rice is very quietly becoming an elite receiver to me. And I hate saying that because obviously he's a complete douchebag. But 8 catches, 92 yards, and 2 more touchdowns on 12 targets for Rashee Rice. Travis Kelce had a touchdown. Hollywood Brown had a touchdown. And Xavier Worthy, 4 catches. Is Kansas City dangerous if they make the playoffs?
Absolutely. If you have Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, you're dangerous. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And the defense, like you said, still top 10. But another stat I heard, this is from Nick Wright. So you
Nick
know
Wrong.
how much of a,
Nick
blowhard
Wrong.
he
Yeah.
is. But they've blown 3 fourth quarter leads after Mahomes has taken the lead in the fourth quarter. So it's definitely the defense. Mahomes is having one of the better years that he's had in the last, like you just said, 26 and 11 last year. Like he hasn't played exceptionally in the last couple of years. He's playing really well. He's just, the defense is letting him down. So I wouldn't want to see him in the playoffs. If you're that 2 seed and they're the 7, I wouldn't want it.
I think it's paramount as a fan of this team that we hold on to the 1 seed, because we do. If you see Kansas City could knock off Denver if Denver sits in that 2 spot. Just saying, you don't want to see, just be based off the numbers that I just gave you. Don't want to see Kansas City. Just what he just said. Don't want to see Kansas City. Kansas City has got another tough one, and you might not think so, but they've got another tough one. They play Houston on Sunday Night Football. That is a tough game. I will explain why in a little while when we get to Houston. They are 3-point favorites as of right now. We already mentioned Dallas is at the 7-5 Detroit Lions. They are 3-point dogs. Get on that line right now. We move on. Thanksgiving night. Joe Burrow's back. 3-8 Bengals. Why is he playing? Because he's a friggin' professional. He's a competitor.
There's still a chance. There's still a chance.
There is still a chance, because this is how wide open the bottom of the AFC playoff picture is, because they go into Baltimore statement 32-14 win over the fraud Ravens that I told you were frauds last week. That's because Lamar Jackson's not healthy. Clearly
Definitely not. Definitely
not healthy. Joe Burrow missed nearly 3 months. He comes back and basically doesn't miss a beat. Yes, there were a lot of incomplete passes, but he made several money throws in this game.
Yeah, that throw to Yoshivas was amazing.
Ridiculous.
Dying.
I needed
Dying.
I needed 4 more receiving yards from Yoshivas. He had 1 catch for 29 yards. Uh, Burrow goes 24 out of 46. That's not great. 261 and 2 touchdowns. He had constant pressure on him, but was only sacked once. Chase Brown Chase Brown people had a nice game. 22 touches for, I snuck that in there. 113 yards. Jamar Chase in his return, 7 catches for 110. Here's the Lamar Jackson line. 17 out of 32. 246 yards. An interception. 27 rushing yards, and 2 lost fumbles. That's your MVP quarterback right there. Yeah.
He
2-time
looked
MVP.
bad.
Yeah. Bad against a bad defense.
And I don't know if you watched. He missed a lot of like easy throws.
Yeah,
Like,
I watched the game. Yeah.
A lot of throws you expect a professional quarterback to make, like a lot of out routes. He's just missing like open receivers. You can't be doing that, especially if you're trying to get to the playoffs. I mean, this was kind of a must win for them.
In a way, I mean, because you could have separated yourself from Pittsburgh, who at the time Pittsburgh wasn't playing until Sunday. You could have separated yourself from Pittsburgh. Buffalo did you a favor on that one. We'll talk about that later as well. But get this. Lamar's first fumble, which was a calamity play, it set up Cincinnati on the Baltimore 2-yard line, and somehow the Bengals came away with no points. Second fumble and interception. His second fumble and interception led to field goals. Isaiah Likely had another dummy, one of those dummy, I'm going into the end zone, and then I know the ball was knocked out of his hands.
I know, it was a great play.
It was a good play.
Yeah.
But these were fumbles that also led to field goals by he and Zay Flowers. Derrick Henry just 10 carries for 60 yards and a touchdown here.
It was really confusing. They didn't utilize him because when they were running with him, he was running well.
6 yards a pop, yeah. I don't know.
Like he was out for like the whole second quarter. I don't know if it was like an injury thing, but then he was back. He caught a like little option route and he went for like 30 yards or whatever. And then they just stopped running the ball.
Yeah, it's not the first time that they've stopped running the ball with Derrick Henry when he's been useful for them, is it?
Yeah, kind of like what they do in the playoffs. Maybe they're just getting ready to do that.
Exactly like what they did in the game against Buffalo. Last AFC divisional round. First time allowing more than 19 points by the Ravens to an opponent since week 5.
Wow.
So we talked about how they had historically bad numbers the first 4 or 5 weeks. That is not the case now.
Wow.
That is not the case now, and yet they sit at 6-6, folks. Cincinnati improves to 4-8. They are not dead. I ain't dead yet. Can't say that. Nope, can't say that. Those Bengals will be. This is an interesting one too. Cincinnati will travel to Buffalo Sunday, 1:00. They are 5.5-point underdogs. Only 5.5-point underdogs. That's interesting. Baltimore is getting 6 against Pittsburgh at home Sunday, 1:00. Interesting. They're getting 6, and both teams are 6-6. So riddle me that. What a crap division this year. Crap.
Yeah, I mean, if the Bengals win out, they win that division.
That's absolutely correct. That is correct. You are correct. And that's why when they say in the hunt and they still have Miami and Cincinnati at the bottom of the graphic, that's because they could win their own division and they're sitting 4-8. Can Burrow pull that run off just like he did last year? Because they almost pulled it off last year.
Yeah,
I doubt it, but I don't count Joe Burrow out of anything. So, here we go. Black Friday. We have games on Black Friday now. We have games on Christmas Day now. We have games every day. This time it was on Amazon Prime, and it was a good one, at least on paper. The 8-3 Chicago Bears at the 8-3 defending champion Philadelphia Eagles. And I bet you
frauds, I think we need to call them.
Defending fraud champion, which we've been talking about this for weeks now with Philadelphia. Yeah. Chicago goes in there and beats them. And really, it wasn't as close as the score indicated either.
No. 24 they scored that garbage time touchdown.
24-15 the final. So yeah, this is impressive for the now 1-seeded Chicago Bears. How many wins did you have him at this year?
I think 8 or 7.
Oh, you had him at like 5, but that's okay.
Did I really?
I don't know. We'll pull the tape eventually. Despite that close score, Bears were in control entire second half after a slow-ish start. Philly pulled it to within 9 with only 3:10 left. That garbage time touchdown, like you said. This was a very simple formula for the Bears in this one, folks. All about the ground and pound. The good old ground and pound. And Philadelphia had no answer.
Nothing.
Bears running backs, 47 carries. 47 carries for 281 yards and 2 touchdowns. Kyle Monangai had 22 of them for 130 and a touchdown. And DeAndre Swift was running angry against his old team in this one. 18 for 125 and a touchdown for him. Flip side, Caleb Williams didn't play that well. Didn't need to. 17 out of 36 for 154. Gross. Touchdown and interception. He has just 51.8% completions. 17 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, but 5 fourth quarter comebacks, which is tied for the league with, do you know who?
No.
Bo Nix. Bo Nix and Caleb Williams are
I should have known
tied.
that because they won like every game in the fourth quarter.
Correct. But Caleb Williams was sacked 68 times as a rookie. He's only been sacked 19 times in 12 games. Ben Johnson knows how to coach offense. Go figure. Flip side, Philadelphia played like crap. They did. Jalen Hurts did have 2 touchdown passes. He did lose a fumble on a tush push. The interception didn't lead to points, but the fumble in Chicago territory on that failed tush push led to an eventual Bears touchdown to put him up 17-9. Philly fans should be worried, right? And before you answer that, Saquon Barkley, 13 carries for 56 yards with no catches. Barkley is averaging 3.7 yards per attempt and 61.7 rush yards per game. That number was 125.3 last year. He has 4 rushing touchdowns. Now, again, before you answer that, sorry. Kirk Herbstreit on this broadcast said to him, Barkley looks like the same guy and hasn't lost a step. I could not disagree with him more. I've seen probably half of Philly's games this year at least, because they're always on TV now. Something's wrong with Barkley. Something's wrong with the offensive line. This team, 8-4, they kind of remind me of the 2019 Patriots. They don't look right to me at all.
And I wonder if it's they keep having this carousel with the offensive coordinators, right? They had Kellen Moore last year. Yeah. He's gone. He's in New Orleans. I think before Kellen Moore, they had another guy. They struggled. And it's like, I don't know if it's the offensive coordinator, his play designs, whatever it might be. But I mean, obviously, a guy that had over 2,000 yards last year, you're not even close to that. And, you're averaging under 4 yards a tote. You can't be the same guy.
Something's wrong. Something's wrong.
Like, I mean, he did hurt his groin earlier. I wonder if it's lingering. I wonder if there's, and he just, he's the kind of guy that doesn't want to miss games. I get that. But either something's wrong or it's the play calling or the play designs, because their offense has looked like high school. Like, it hasn't looked very in depth. It hasn't looked like there's a lot of concepts that would make the defense struggle. Like, It's Jalen Hurts steps back, he throws first, second read, and then it's over. You know what I mean? It's like, and that's why A.J. Brown's upset, as much as people want to hate him. Obviously, he knows something's going on. He's in those meetings. He sees the plays. Obviously, A.J. Brown's a very good receiver. He must see the writing on the wall that this team doesn't have it.
I'm sure he does. We'll actually get to Brown in 1 second, because the Brown's the only thing that's been going right for them the last few weeks, and that's probably, I don't know, maybe a reason why they're not. It's just him, really. Barkley's only exceeded 60 rushing yards in 3 games this year. Week 2, Kansas City had 88. Week 8 against the Giants, 150. And Week 11 against the Detroit Lions, he had 83. So he has not exceeded 90 rushing yards more than one time in this season, after he had 2,000 yards last year. A.J. Brown in this game had 10 catches for 132 yards and both touchdowns. That does not matter. When you're losing, A.J. Brown shouldn't be bitching right now, because in his last 3 games, 33 targets, 25 catches, 291 yards, 3 touchdowns. Phillies 1-2. And their offense has put up 52 points in those 3 games. They're not winning that way. They're not winning that way. This is impressive for the Bears, though. I think, we've sat here on the show and said, well, they're just pulling them out of their ass, like they're just barely squeaking by. But this one was pretty impressive. So anyway,
this is probably their strongest win of the year.
I would, right? There's no doubt about that.
I was looking at their numbers the other day. Their strength of victory is only 344, so they're not beating world beaters, but. And I feel like this year in the NFL, it's hard to find teams that are, because There's a lot of watered down football, unfortunately. Um, but I will say, Chicago is living off turnovers. They have, I believe, the highest turnover margin in the NFL, and they have the most turnovers caused.
Yes,
Um,
I talked about that on the show last week, actually.
yeah, so that's what happens when you don't get the turnovers.
That's a good
That'll
question.
be, you know what I mean? Like that'll be the difference. Like when we see a game where they don't have 2 or 3 turnovers or +2 in the turnover category, is that automatically going to be a loss?
Yeah. Right. And a lot of times when you get into the playoffs, you play teams that are cleaned a little bit more cleaned up. I mean, there's something certainly to be said about creating turnovers, but we've seen turnover dependent teams in the past that it doesn't always work out for them because it just dries up when you play better teams. So we'll see. But we already mentioned Chicago 6.5 point dogs at Green Bay on Sunday at 425. Smashable offense, if you ask me. In Philadelphia, 2.5 point favorites at the Chargers on Monday Night Football. We'll talk about the Chargers a bit later on in the program, folks. This is already a slog. I can feel it. Carolina Panthers and LA Rams. The line was 10.5 points in favor of the Rams in this game. What happened?
You had an upset.
Thank you for elaborating. I appreciate that.
I mean,
Both
Stafford probably played his worst game, right? That's probably the difference in the game. He had those 2 picks, and Bryce might have had one of his most efficient games. It wasn't amazing, but what did he throw? 3 touchdowns?
yeah.
3 touchdowns, 2 of them, I believe, on fourth down.
Yeah.
Big fourth down throws. I'm still not worried about the Rams. I still think they're the best team in the NFC. But sometimes you throw up a dud and you lose one.
Yeah, but I mean, to be honest with you, I think this was all completely on Stafford. Both teams score on their first possession, and then here's what happens. Rams drive the field again on their second possession, but Stafford throws an interception in the end zone. Can't do that. Seen that happen before. Carolina doesn't capitalize. They go 3-and-out. Rams start their next drive at the 28. 4 plays later, Stafford throws another pick, and that one gets run a pick six. Yes, he gets returned 48 yards for a touchdown. Thank you. Stafford in his first 11 games had 2 interceptions. Stafford in his first 3 drives on Sunday had 2 interceptions. Oh, by the way, he also had a strip sack fumble on the Carolina 22-yard line with 2:32 left in regulation, with the Rams going in to either tie or take the lead. That is why they lost this game. They lost 31-28. That's why they lost. They turnovers kill you. Turnovers kill you. It was a 3-point game. Now I get to do the Carolina stat again. I think this was more about Stafford coughing it up. And listen, it's a huge win. It's a huge win. And great for the Panthers. They don't completely suck. Great. They're 7-6. They once again have a winning record with a bottom 6 offense. It's still true. A bottom 6 offense in a minus 50 point differential. That minus 50 can be accounted in 2 blowout losses. Josh, do you know who they were 2?
The Patriots and
same division.
Yeah, I was going to say, was it? No, it wasn't New Orleans. Was it New Orleans?
No, it was the same division as the Patriots.
Tampa Bay, right?
Buffalo. They lost by 31 to Buffalo in 29. I was trying to tell you it's the same division as the Patriots, but I didn't want to give you the answer. But they're plus 10 in their other 11 games, and they're 7-4 if you look at it that way. So I don't know, super convoluted stat that I made up. There you go. But it is true. Bryce Young goes 15 out of 20, 206, 3 touchdowns. Chuba Hubbard, he's back in the picture, I guess. Now he had 17 carries for 83 yards and 2 catches for 41 yards and a touchdown. Dowdle, 18 carries for 58. Tetsuya McMillan, the 8th overall pick in the draft. He had just 1 catch, but it was a 43-yard touchdown. Jalen Coker had 4 catches for 74 and a touchdown. Stafford, probably his worst game of the season, 18 out of 28, 243. Yeah, 3 turnovers. That's his worst game of the season because he didn't have 3 all year coming into it. 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, and a lost fumble. Kyron Williams, 13 carries, 72 and a score. Blake Corum, 7 for 81 and a score. Devontae Adams, 2 more touchdowns. So that has been a hell of a signing and a hell of a find. Devontae Adams, a Hall of Famer, without a doubt. Yeah. I wasn't sure about that when he first came into the league. He's not slowing down in his 30s here. That's all I'm going to say.
I think I throw a stat. He has almost as many touchdowns he has more than King Henry.
Yes. He's also, I think he's now 6 behind Marvin Harrison.
Like that's point. I remember watching him with Rodgers. Guy always looked like a stud.
He's always open, Josh. He's constantly open. It's just he's not even like the fastest guy, but he's always open. It's crazy. Puka Nacua did have 6 catches for 72. Panthers getting much earned bye week here. They go in 7-6, and I gotta say, rather impressive for a head coach I thought was going to get fired this year. It's been a nice little story down in Kakalaki. Good for the fans there. The Rams are 9-point favorites at Arizona on Sunday at 425. That is a perfect spot to pick the Cardinals in. I've got a stat on the Cardinals later, too. We'll get to that shortly. So you got the Rams. I was just talking about the Rams and how they're going to play the Arizona. So who's another team that's in that division that also has 9 wins? Well, there are 2 of them.
Oh, wait, I was going to say it could be Seattle or it could be San Francisco.
Well, where do you think I'm going to segue at this point in the show? Do you think I'm going to talk about Seattle that's in the 4 o'clock window? Or do you think I'm going to talk about the San Francisco 49ers traveling to Cleveland to take on the 3-8 Cleveland Browns? Shedeur Sanders, the rude awakening everyone saw coming for Shedeur Sanders, even though he didn't play that bad. But the reality is there's no talent on the Cleveland roster. Shut up. You beat the friggin' Raiders, you dope. Shut up. I thought it was weird, and I told you this throughout the week. I thought it was weird. This is why I hammered it. I ended up on a 4-leg parlay. I took San Francisco -4.5. That's easy. Against Cleveland. And I know the weather was bad. I know it was a road game. But man, 26-8 the final score. Cleveland actually had the lead in this game with 39 seconds left in the first half. I'm sure you were pulling your hair out, whatever's left of it. But San Francisco would take the lead back for good on a field goal, thanks to Purdy being the man, I guess, and leading him down the field on 3 straight completions for 58 yards. That made it 10-8 at halftime. And San Francisco would never look back from there. What would you like to add about this game, sir?
I'd like to give some props to
Please do.
Schwartz and the Cleveland defense. I don't know how
good defense.
I don't know how many Cleveland games you watch, but watching 59 plus minutes of them, that defense is pretty freaking good.
I know,
like really good.
I know.
So getting to let's be honest. Unless you're a Browns fan, you don't watch Browns games, and I always watch 60 minutes worth of Niners football, then probably plus because I'll watch it again. But like watching the full game, I was like, oh yeah, I'm a nerd when it comes to my team. But watching it, I was like, wow, this defense is like their disruption at the line of scrimmage.
Their front 7 is incredible.
Yes. The back 4 not as great because Purdy was able, to make some throws in some bad weather. But man, that front 7 is so good, and it's a shame that just obviously offensively. And I don't know if it's Stefanski. I mean, watching the game again, watching Stefanski call these plays, like everything is just a check down. Everything is, they don't push the ball downfield. And I feel like when they do, it's probably like Shedeur forcing it. Like, I don't think that's how the play is written up. Because, I mean, there were times he had people and he's just throwing it to the check down. Like, almost like they're taught this way. And Dylan Gabriel was doing the same thing. So, I mean, Kevin Stefanski, I think, needs to go. I think he's an idiot.
I think he's going. I think he's going to go.
So, but, I mean, obviously, the 49ers defense looks like it's starting to gel, which I did not expect. I thought this defense was going to get killed. In the last 2 or 3 games, they held the Panthers to, like, maybe a little over 200 yards or whatever it was. So they look like they're starting to gel. And I think these young kids are starting to get some confidence. And Salah's calling a great defense, which, he's starting to mix in blitzes, which he never did in his first stint here. They had a couple sacks. I think this Niners team could make a run. They could move up to the 2 seed this week if everything goes well.
Yeah, I do. I do like San Francisco. I always, the injuries really did kill them last year. And I know when it comes to playoffs and especially Super Bowls, like Shanahan kind of craps his pants a little bit. I mean a lot, like full diaper load crap of the pants. But they're always well coached, right? Getting Salah back has been huge for them because their defense was terrible last year until they got him back. That's been a godsend for them. I will say this much: as far as Cleveland not throwing the ball downfield, they don't have any downfield receivers, to tell you the truth. The one that they did have was Cedric Tillman. I think they traded him. Jerry Jeudy is a bonehead clown idiot, and he's over there yelling at people on the.
Smith would say a jag.
Yeah, jag off, even perhaps we would say. The true talent, they have 2 pieces on that offense. Quinshon Judkins is for real. That's a good running back. That's a really good running back. And Harold Fannon's going to be a good tight end in this league. He did botch a snap, I think, when they were going for a tush push or something, because now everybody runs a tush push with the tight end, right? I think he dropped it. I think that ended up leading to a San Francisco touchdown. But there are two pieces. Jury's still out on Shadur Sanders, obviously, and I don't think you really get a real answer on that kid in this kind of. You have to put something around him. You have to have a coach that's willing to work with him too.
The coach clearly doesn't want him.
He's disinterested, and I think he's going to lose his job for it, and he's going to have a hard time getting another job because of it. But when they made the playoffs with Stefanski, he had Baker Mayfield, and Baker Mayfield was playing well at that point in his career.
Yeah, absolutely.
They lost it. He lost it for a little while the year after that. That's how he got punted out the door. But Baker was playing well. That's how they made the playoffs with Stefanski. I'm not going to go crazy with stats in this one. Shedeur went 16 out of 25. Purdy was 16 out of 29 for 168. His line was 201 and a half. He didn't come close to that. Did have a 2-yard rushing touchdown. Christian McCaffrey, you could tell they were playing in bad weather just by looking at these lines here. McCaffrey, 20 carries for 53 yards and a touchdown. Jawan Jennings had 4 catches for 39 yards and a touchdown. He did not get punched in the nuts this week, so that's good. San Francisco hits their bye week on a high note, 9-4. They've looked good. It's been a good little stretch for them. Cleveland, the 3-9 Cleveland Browns are 4-point favorites against the Tennessee Titans Sunday at 1 o'clock. That is the grossest game of the year, I think. Here's a game we're not going to spend a lot of time talking about at all. Jacksonville 25, Tennessee 3.
That team is so bad. And I think we said at the beginning of the year they were going to be the worst team in football.
So bad. So incredibly bad. No, I can't do that. I can't do that on the show. They'll cancel me. But Tennessee is one of the worst teams we've seen in the last decade, this year's Titans team. They're definitely worse than last year's Titans team with Mayo Boy and whoever else they trotted out there. I'm almost ready to say that Jacksonville's for real as they go to 8-4 because I thought this was a trap game for them, and it was not. They didn't have to do much to win the game either. Tennessee got their only points 10 minutes into the game on a short field goal, never scored again. They had 188 yards of offense. Jaguars' defense is legit, save for that fourth quarter against the Texans, which was pretty bad. Titans, league's worst offense, 14.2 points per game, and only the fourth worst defense, 27.3 points per game allowed, which means they are getting beat by 13 points a game. They have a minus 158 point differential. Jacoby Myers has been a nice pickup for the Jags, however. Since the trade from the Raiders, he's got in 4 games, 18 catches, 245 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So they kind of saved his career. Trevor Lawrence, another ordinary, 16 out of 27 for 229 and 2 scores. At least he didn't throw a pick. Jags running backs couldn't run it, 20 for 45 yards. Cam Ward, 141 yards passing on 38 attempts. 24 completions, 141 yards. This is a team that's going nowhere. Anyway, 25-3 Jacksonville. Do you want to add anything here? I'd prefer if you didn't, but if you want.
I was going to say, absolutely not.
Nothing to add here. I do think that Jacksonville's this close to being for real. I think that the kid from Rhode Island might be a good head coach. Maybe.
I mean, the head coach change is definitely big for them, but like we've said it, again, not sold on T-Law.
No, not at all. Interesting one next Sunday for Jacksonville. They are 1 point underdogs. They're not really underdogs. It's really a push or so, we think. At home against the Colts. Sunday at 1 o'clock. Both of those teams 8-4. We were about to talk about the Colts. And like we just mentioned, Tennessee 4-point underdogs at Cleveland Sunday, 1 o'clock. I think the team to beat in the AFC South might not be the Jacksonville Jaguars or the Indianapolis Colts. I really think it might be the Houston Texans. I know. We said they suck. They were 0-3. They suck. CJ Stroud's a bust. He sucks. Not so fast, I'm afraid. Houston goes into Indianapolis and beats the Colts 20-16. Bonverna.
They did beat them, but a little bit of help.
Where'd they get the help from?
Fourth quarter, it was 13-13. It was 3rd and 14. You had to delay a game that wasn't called, and then a pass interference that should not have been a pass interference. And that kind of changed the tide because they ended up going down there. They scored on the Nico Collins
Rushing
and
touchdown.
so yeah, so that kind of changed the tide of the game because that was a touch. Indianapolis should have got the ball. Now, granted, I the Texans have the best defense in the NFL, maybe. Like,
Correct. I will get to it. Yes, you are correct.
so I think no matter what, there's no guarantee that Indianapolis would have scored, but you score a touchdown on, again, I don't know if you've seen the pass interference. It was not pass interference. It was a terrible call, like terrible. And I'm not a Colts fan. I'm not a Colts fan at all. It was really bad, like bad officiating. It was a delay of game that they didn't call, and then
Uh,
they call a pass interference on Indianapolis. I mean, if I was a Colts fan, I'd be heated.
you are repeating yourself at this point, so it must have been really, really bad.
It was.
I will never feel bad for the Indianapolis Colts. Ever. Ever, 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 ever. Same bitch franchise that pumped in crowd noise and turned up the heat and got the rules changed. I will never feel. Oh, and by the way, cried wolf on Deflategate. F the Indianapolis Colts for all time. Anyway, the Colts were number 1 seed in the AFC a mere 3 weeks ago. And after next week, they might be third in their own division.
Seriously.
For
Definitely could
real.
happen.
Sorry.
I said definitely could happen.
It is definitely possible.
It's been that kind of season.
It's certainly been that kind of a season, hasn't it? Houston's won 7 out of 9, including 4 in a row. They started 0-3. Before you tell me that Houston's not legit, regardless of what the officials did or didn't do, 5 of their 7 wins are against teams 500 or better. Here are those 5 wins: Baltimore, San Francisco, Jacksonville, Buffalo, Indianapolis. That ain't too shabby. And the other 2 came against the Titans. So there, Titans. We slept on the Texans early, but they might be legit. Number 1 defense in the league, allowing just 16.5 points per game. They have held their opponents under 20 points in 9 of 12. That's pretty darn good in today's NFL. What's not helping the Colts is Daniel Jones is playing with a fractured fibula in one of his legs. That doesn't help at all. That doesn't help their chances. It doesn't help his. You already described the 13-13 sequence and how Houston got bailed out, and it led to them getting the eventual game-winning touchdown. That would be enough. 2016, the final. Houston 7-5, Indy 8-4. Stroud 276 scoreless yards and a pick. Woody Marks 19 carries, 64 yards. Chubb had 9 carries for 34 yards and a touchdown. Nico Collins had a nice game, 98 yards on 5 catches and a 7-yard rushing touchdown. Daniel Jones just 14 out of 27, so maybe a little compromised after all. 201, 2 touchdowns. Jonathan Taylor just 21 carries for an ordinary 85 yards. Tyler Warren 22 yards and a touchdown on 3 catches. Alec Pierce, another receiver nobody talks about for the Colts, who's pretty good. I believe out of Ohio State, 4 catches, 78 yards and a touchdown for him. I already mentioned both of these teams' next games. Houston, 3-point underdogs at the 6-6 Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday Night Football. That one is interesting, as is the Colts being 1-point favorites at Jacksonville. Both teams 8-4 Sunday at 1 o'clock. All right, we continue to roll along on the Terranadome. I'm Terrana. He's Josh Morris. He's back on the show. Say hello to the people.
Hello, people.
Hello, people. Yes, all of you people out there. I'm sure it's all people. Especially these days, in the times of uncertainty and AI and bots and all that other stuff. All right, we're going to talk about 2 games that have next to no playoff implication, but not completely no playoff implication. And I'll tell you why. The New Orleans Saints traveled to the Miami Dolphins to play a game in Miami. Obviously.
There's a chance.
You're saying there's a chance because the Miami Dolphins, who were favored by 6, they win this game 21-17. They certainly tried to let New Orleans hang around a lot, but they couldn't quite. New Orleans couldn't quite take the bait. Miami was up 16-0 at the half. Like again, 21-17. Miami, they improved to 5-7. Are technically still alive for a wild card spot. Certainly not the division. Go Pats. But anyway. New Orleans made it late. They let New Orleans make a game of it there in the second half, and they even had multiple chances to win it late in the fourth quarter. It was a 19-11 game. Let me just take you to the fourth quarter. It was a 19-11 game, Miami leading. After a turnover on downs by Miami, 3:05 left, New Orleans has the ball on their own 45-yard line. 7 plays later, it's Tyler Shuck hitting Devon Vele for a 15-yard touchdown. 19-17 with 1:17 left. Nollins goes for a 2-point conversion to tie the game, and what happens?
They don't get it.
And what happened on the play?
Oh, I don't actually remember. I watched it on Red Zone too, but I didn't.
It was pretty cool. The 2-point conversion play was picked off and run all the way back 100 yards by Minka Fitzpatrick for 2 points for Miami. So now, rather than having a chance, if you get the onside kick to be able to go and get a field goal to win the game, well, now you need a touchdown because you threw a pick 6 on a friggin' 2-point conversion. New Orleans, destined to be the number 2 pick in the draft. They actually recover the onside kick with 1:17 left. They recover it. It had only happened 7% of the time in the league this year. They recover the onside kick. But Shuck could only shuck that corner and advance it 19 yards. He eventually gets stuffed on a 4th and 1. Miami hangs on, 21-17. They are at 5-7 and technically not dead yet.
Not dead yet.
MFers. Another banner performance for Tua Tagovailoa. And now, granted, it was raining. 12 out of 23 for 157 yards and an interception. The 14th interception of the season for Tagovailoa. The lone bright spot that's left in the Miami offense is who?
Your boy.
Devin Achane? A-Chain? We like to call him A-Chain. Everybody likes to call him A-Chain. That's not how you say his name, though. He had 22 carries for 134 more yards and a touchdown. He has 1,404 yards from scrimmage and 10 total touchdowns.
Man.
Not bad on a terrible team.
On a terrible team.
Terrible team. Tyler Shuck went 26 out of 38. He shucked it 38 times and completed 26 shucks. 2 touchdowns, an interception, and a lost fumble. He also, I don't even think that doesn't even count the INT on the 2-point conversion. I guess he might have technically had 2 interceptions.
Yeah, because technically that doesn't go against his stats.
Correct. Devin Neal started in place of Alvin Kamara. He had 14 carries for 47 yards, 3 catches for 22. Devon Vele, second-year receiver, 7th-round pick from the Broncos that they just let go. Sean Payton is not afraid to cut bait if he doesn't like you. He did it with Tyler Batty, too, or Tyler Beatty, whatever. He did it with him, too. Vele has 8 catches for 93 yards and a touchdown. And Chris, the floor is Olave. 4 catches for 47 yards and a touchdown. So Miami is now into December with a chance to make the playoffs. But they have to come up north to the Jets and to the Patriots. So how do we think that's going to go? Next week, they are 3-point favorites at the NYJ. Sunday at 1 o'clock. Bet the Jets. Oh my God, just bet the Jets. By the way, the Jets are kind of hot. Just saying. And we're about to get to the Jets. New Orleans +9. 9-point dogs at Tampa Bay Sunday, 1 o'clock. Here's one that has 0 playoff implication, but we're going to talk about it anyway for 2 seconds. Atlanta going to the NYJ. And the NYJ comes out on top. We both picked the NYJ on the show last week. We were both correct. Atlanta's dead in the water. It was actually a compelling game, too. 27-24, a little bit of back and forth. Both of these teams are going to probably be in the top 10 in draft picks next year. And still a compelling game. Kirk Cousins' days as an effective NFL QB seem to be over, which is sad. We all like Kirk and Creed, and he's, you like that, and, all the Christian values, all that good stuff. You like that. He goes 21 out of 33 for 234. Bichon Frise is best in show. The Bichon Frise was the best in show at this year's dog show, by the way. But segue, Bijan Robinson, 23 carries for 142 yards and a touchdown, and 5 catches for 51 yards. I believe my math serves me right. 193 total yards on 28 touches. The kid is so good.
Not too shabby.
And that team is so bad.
Yeah.
Josh, Bijan only has 5 rushing touchdowns this year, while Tyler Algier has vultured 8. Madness.
Mr. Snake over there.
Madness. Kyle Pitts, 7 catches for 84 yards. That was close. I've already hit my square quota. Tyrod Taylor, 19 out of 33 for 172, a touchdown. He also had 8 carries for 44 yards and a touchdown. Breece Hall, just 68 yards on 19 carries for a touchdown. And Bonehead Adonai Mitchell, cast off by the Colts, has a career day of 8 catches for 102 yards and a touchdown on 12 targets. Anything
He's not throwing the ball behind him. He looks pretty good.
Yes, correct. Oh, also the Jets won this one on a very last-second field goal by Nick Folk.
Former
Former Patriot great Nick Folk, a 56-yarder that just snuck in to the bottom left corner. Doesn't matter how far it goes in, as long as it goes in, right? I know. I can't say that's what she said, but that's what she said. So is there any takeaway here? There's got to be some takeaway, right? The Jets are trying to win games. I'll give them credit. They're
Yeah.
not tanking. Tyrod Taylor gives them a chance to win games.
I was going to say, I think the only thing to take away is that Justin Fields should not see the field for the rest of the year.
No, he shouldn't. But he will, and I'll tell you why.
Because Tyrod's going to get hurt.
Tyrod Taylor is about as durable as a wet paper towel. So, yes. And not the bounty kind either. So, yeah. But Fields, to his credit, was on the sidelines cheering when they were scoring and stuff. I'll give the kid credit. At least he doesn't have an ego. He's still getting paid $20 million. Oh yeah, we already mentioned that the Jets are going to play the 5-7 Dolphins at home. They are 3-point dogs Sunday, 1:00. Atlanta, 7-point dogs against Seattle at home Sunday, 1:00. Just 7-point dogs. Last game of the 1:00 window, Josh. It is the Arizona Cardinals at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Josh, your pick was if Baker plays in this game, give me the Bucs. If Baker does not play in this game, I will take Arizona. I think that was probably the difference in the game.
Absolutely.
20-17, Tampa just ekes it out.
Without Baker, they don't win that game.
I don't think so. I want to give you a stat on the Cardinals, if I may. The Cardinals are now 3-9. Not very good. Why am I giving you a stat on the Cardinals? Well, here's why. A lot of this has to do with betting purposes, but here you go. Arizona continues to lose close games. 7 of their 9 losses are by 4 points or less.
Score. Yeah.
4 points. It's less. It's 4 points or less. 7 of 9. They're now 2-7 in one-score games. Neither of their turnovers in this game led to Tampa points. Bucks went up 20-10 with 9 minutes left on a 57-yard field goal, and Arizona answered it. 9-play, 73-yard drive. 20-17, 4:58 to go. They would force Tampa to punt it, get it back with 4:49 to go. They failed to complete passes on 3rd and 2 and 4th and 2. Bucks barely hang on. 20-17. Banged up Baker Mayfield. 7-5 Bucks. Is Jacoby Brissett playing his way into a job somewhere next year?
Definitely. I mean, maybe not a starter, but teams are so willing, especially now because guys get injured so frequently. Guys are willing to pay for a backup quarterback. So I mean, he's played so well.
Talking about a starting job, Josh. Starting job.
Oh, no.
All right.
No,
he's going to have a really long career. He'll be in this league until his late 30s. If he can come in and at least give you a representative product.
I mean, where would he start?
I don't know.
I mean, maybe the Saints?
Minnesota.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Saints are going to want to get their quarterback of the future. The problem is that this draft is not going to be very rich with quarterback talent.
Not deep.
Nope. Maybe you get 2. Maybe you get to 2 if Arch Manning decides to come out. Maybe you get Mendoza. Maybe Mendoza's something, and you got Arch Manning. I don't know. Baker Mayfield with the banged up non-throwing shoulder, 18 out of 28, 194 yards and a touchdown. Bucky Irving comes back and has 17 carries for 61 and a touchdown. Chris Godwin looked like him, almost like himself again, but he did drop one in the end zone. 3 catches for 78 yards. Brissett throws for 301 and 2 touchdowns, but an interception. Bam Knight, 11 carries for 62 yards. Still no Trey Benson. He has a meniscus and hasn't come back yet. Wonder why. Those meniscus injuries can be a real bitch, can't they?
They definitely can.
It seems like they can be. Didn't I tell you when he first went down too? I'm like, I'm thinking of you, buddy.
Yeah.
Like, well, if you still can barely move, how the hell is this guy going to be a running back in 4 weeks? Doesn't make any sense. He still hasn't come back.
It's been quite longer, correct?
Yeah, it's been like, actually, if he can't come back by next week, his window's going to close and he's going to be on an IR for the rest of the year. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. Trey McBride's a really good tight end, being wasted out there in the desert. 8 catches, 82 yards and a touchdown. Marvin Harrison Jr., 6 catches for 69, but he gets hurt again, and he may not play this week. Tampa, 9-point favorites against Nolans. They're 2-10, Sunday at 1:00. Meanwhile, Arizona's 9-point dogs at home against the Rams. The Rams are 9-3. Sunday, 4:25. Okay, I have 2 games we really don't need to talk about at all, but we're going to have to mention them. 4:00 window. I had the Seattle Seahawks in a survivor pool where it's just me and my one good buddy, Pat. And as long as the Seahawks won, I would advance. The Seahawks won. And boy, that was not a game. That was not a game. Minnesota has no quarterback.
The Vikings are an embarrassment right now.
I know. And they're not, and they're only like the seventh worst record in the league or something like that. They
But
had
I
to
mean, that
start.
was an unwatchable football game.
It was. I mean, that's why a lot of times, just a personal gripe, if you will, ladies and gentlemen, the late window on NFL Red Zone can sometimes be a real bore. Okay.
Mm.
A lot of these times, these games are simply not competitive. I remember a few weeks ago where all three games were like blowouts by 20 plus points. And that was more
Yeah.
entertaining than this pile of crap. Seattle 26, Minnesota blank. Minnesota had to start Max Brosmer, doesn't matter. Sorry.
Throw it to the other team. Oh, I'm falling to the ground, Murr.
Yeah, right. Yep, seen that before, but not lately. Undrafted rookie QB Max Brosmer out of New Hampshire. Yeah, that's like a blooper reel. Those results were even worse than expected. And to be honest, Seattle didn't play well. Seattle didn't have to play well. They only scored one offensive touchdown. It was with 9 minutes left in the game. They had an 85-yard pick six in the second quarter and 4 field goals. Other than that, Brosmer, 126 yards passing and 4 interceptions. Sam Darnold against his former team, just 128 yards passing. JSN, first bad game of the season, literally 2 catches for 23 yards. I don't know what there is to take away from this game except for the fact that Seattle did what they had to do. They won an ugly game. They're 9-3. All three top teams in the NFC West have 9 wins. And Seattle will be 7-point favorites in Atlanta on Sunday at 1. Minnesota 2-point favorites at home against Washington. They're assuming J.J. McCarthy's going to come back and they're going to beat them. I'm not sure about that. Do you want anything you want to add from this one before we move along here?
I mean, I would say, I think Flores being up against Darnold all last year, I think he knew how to expose him. Darnold didn't play a great game. Now, granted, they didn't have to because obviously the Vikings can't score, but that'd be something to watch. Like, are people going to watch this? Are coaches going to watch this game? And because the Seattle Seahawks have not beat a lot of good teams this year. They have a weak schedule as well. Their strength of victory is just like the Patriots 343. It's not super high. So they're one of the weaker teams in the NFC per se, even though they have 9 wins. So something to watch if these teams are going to start doing what the Vikings did to Darnold and, really disrupt him.
I agree. I'm looking for wins with the teams above 500. They beat in Jacksonville and Houston, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. So, yeah, good point. Good call. Good.
Yeah.
Absolutely correct. They will play Atlanta in Atlanta. And 7-point line is a little weird. Just saying. Maybe that's a trap spot. And Minnesota's disaster season continues against the Commanders Sunday at 1, 2-point favorites. We go to another game with another crap bag team. It's the Vegas Raiders on the road against the San Diego Superchargers. Yeah. My dad heard that on the radio when I was helping him move on Sunday morning. He thought it was fruity, to say the least. I was like, no, you're wrong. That's awesome. That's the best fight song of all time. Anyway, Chargers whooped that candy ass 31-14, just like we all expected. But the game was 7-7 going into halftime. Now, Justin Herbert broke his left hand in this one. He played through it, though, because he's a dog. He's got that dog in him. He had surgery on it. He's supposed to play next week. Only threw for 151 and 2 touchdowns and a pick. But the Chargers running backs, Jared Patterson and Kamani Vidal, 36 carries for 180 yards and a touchdown. So, Geno Smith threw 2 touchdowns. They both went to Brock Bowers. Poor Ashton Genty. This isn't the Mountain West Conference or whatever you were in, son. 21 touches for 61 yards for the rookie. Raiders are going nowhere fast. I don't really think you can take much out of this game for the Chargers. I don't know if they're getting healthier on the offensive line or what. I know Joe Alt's out for the season. I also know that their rookie running back, who looked pretty good before he got hurt, he's coming back this week. That should be a plus for them. They're in a tough division. I don't see them winning the division. And they have a tough schedule as well. Example, they're 2.5-point dogs at I thought they were hosting
They
Philadelphia.
are. They're home.
They're hosting Philadelphia. I have it wrong on my notes here. On Monday Night Football, that's a tough one, but it's not a game that they can't win. And the Raiders are only 7.5 point dogs against Denver at home Sunday, 4:05. I'm sure you want to say something about the Chargers.
No, I mean, I will say, like, the biggest thing is their offensive line. Losing Joe Alt was huge. I think they're still missing their right guard or their right tackle as well. So, um, if they can get, you know, healthy besides Joe Alt, because obviously he's not coming back, but I I still don't know if they have enough. They love running the football and getting Hampton back. That's going to help, but I mean, Justin Herbert can't seem to stay upright. He's getting hurt every year. I'm kind of feeling bad for my Superchargers. I don't think they're gonna make a deep run this year.
Yeah, they look like a one and done to me too. For the amount of firepower they have on that offense, and I know they put up 31 against the friggin' Raiders, but they should be able to do more with it on a week in and week out basis. But who knows? They should still be a playoff team. So unless they epically collapse, they should be a playoff team. So we'll see. Yes, they'll be hosting Philly and be 2.5 point dogs Monday Night Football. So we shall see. We go to what was supposed to be a good game and wasn't. It was really a garbage game in the first half. Buffalo coming in 7-4 at the Pittsburgh Steelers 6-5, and Pittsburgh led this game 7-3 all the way at the half. Rodgers is out there playing with a broken left wrist, and I'm assuming a bunch of Percocet because he's admitted to doing that in the past. But the first play of the second half was very satisfying for people that both hate the Steelers and Rodgers, because the first play of the second half, he gets sacked and pancaked by Joey Bosa. He fumbles. It's scooped up by Christian Benford for a 17-yard return touchdown. That would put the Bills ahead for good. While Rodgers' nose was being bandaged on the sidelines on the next drive, Mason Rudolph and his boot mustache came in, and he throws an interception on his second pass attempt to the same guy, Christian Benford. So that leads to another Buffalo touchdown. That sequence took all the air out of the Steelers and their fans. 13 points in 6 minutes for the Bills. Steelers' next two drives were a punt and a turnover on downs. Buffalo's next two were a touchdown and a field goal. 26-7 is your score. Josh Allen sucked in this game. Didn't really have to do much, but sucked. 123 yards, a touchdown, and interception. Well, he had a rushing touchdown too. I know he always has woo, woo, woo. That's like his 49th career game with at least one of each, which I guess that's cool or something.
He set the record for most touchdowns for a quarterback.
Yeah, I think 75 rushing touchdowns. Yeah, I think you're right. So he did set some sort of record. Still played like crap, and they still won. I'll tell you why they won. They have this guy in the backfield who's apparently has come back to life. James Cook was not stopped in this game, and Romo kept pointing it out too. If you were watching it, Romo actually did 2 games this week. That's weird. Brady didn't do that. That's weird. But anyway, they kept running it off right guard, off right guard, off right. They just kept doing it, and Pittsburgh couldn't stop it.
If it ain't broke.
If it ain't exactly right. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. 32 carries, 144 yards for Cook. He added 3 catches for 33. Keon Coleman's bum ass was back in the lineup, and I had him on my bench, and he had a 1-yard touchdown catch. Aaron Rodgers, man, maybe he shouldn't come back next year. 10 out of 21 for 117 yards. He's thrown for under 200. It's really under 162 yards in 3 straight games. Poor DK Metcalf. But you know what? I don't feel bad for that jerk either, because he didn't want to come to New England. Oh, no, I'm not so sure about the quarterback situation. Let's go play with 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers, who doesn't give a crap. 3 catches for 32 yards for DK. Stand-up job, buddy. Good job. We'll take Diggs any day. But anyway, pal, there's something to be said about both teams, I think, after this game, and I'm sure you've got something to say.
I mean, I think the Steelers are done. I think they're cooked. I said at the beginning of the year, I didn't think they were going to go over 500. I could see them losing out. Like, this team just has nothing to them, like nothing. So I think they're going to lose out. They're 7-10, 8-9, whatever it might be, and we're going to see a total overhaul of that team.
You know, I heard an interesting thing this week, and it was I forget who it was. I think it was a former player of Mike Tomlin's, and he said, and I quote, Mike Tomlin would be a really good fit for the vacant Penn State job.
Hmm.
Where there's smoke, there's usually fire.
Very true.
But yeah, it looks like there's a real good shot that whole 18-year run of never going under 500 is about to end, doesn't it?
Yeah.
They get that. You didn't even mention anything about Buffalo. Buffalo,
It's hard to take anything from this game. Like
it is.
Steelers played, they played like crap.
That's true. I think Buffalo will actually get a much stiffer test when they host the Cincinnati Bengals, who are 4-8. They will get a stiffer test on Sunday. They're 5.5-point favorites at 1:00, and Pittsburgh will be 6-point dogs at Baltimore. That could be a real low-scoring, ugly-ass game. I might be tempted to go look at what the over/under is in that one. That's at 1:00. Both teams 6-6. We are almost done, but we have to save the best for last. And yeah, it's gonna be a long episode, folks. Oh, so sorry. I know you get all this great content. You just want to whine about it.
Thanksgiving week, there's 16 games. There's a lot to muddle through.
Haven't had to do 16-game slate since like week 4, so take it easy, all right? We're getting there. We won't even though this game was 27-26, just for you guys, I won't spend any time on it, okay? Denver 27 at Washington 26. Yet another win by the skin of their teeth for the 10-2 Broncos. By the way, it's their 8th win by 1 possession. 8 out of 10. And their last 4 games, all wins, have been by a combined 10 points. They've won their last 4 games by a total of 10 points. That does not bode well for them in the playoffs.
I mean, Kansas City did it last year, and they went to the Super Bowl.
And how'd they do in the Super Bowl?
Hey, they still made it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but how'd they do in the Super Bowl?
That doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't matter for the sake of your argument. No, it doesn't matter.
Well, you said they wouldn't. It doesn't fare well for them in the playoffs. If they make the Super Bowl, I'm sure they'd be pretty happy.
Yeah, I don't think Bo Nick's going to the Super Bowl yet. We'll see. Washington had a chance to win this game in overtime, and I think they did the correct thing as a 3-8 team.
3-8.
3-8. You don't play for the tie. You go for the win. You try to upset.
They had it. They had the win.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Nick Benuto made an amazing play, tipped that pass. They had I think it was Nichols wide open, McNichols wide open in the flat. That's a walk-in 2-point conversion. They win. So I was glad they didn't kick the extra point, because it's like no one wants to watch any more of this.
No, if we got 2 ties of the same season, I think people would lose their minds, but they'd still watch. So yeah, good for them for going for it. I said I would spend no time on this. Knicks 321 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. 5 fourth-quarter comebacks is tied with Caleb Williams for the league lead, and 6 game-winning drives does lead the NFL. Steve Harvey, RJ Harvey had 13 carries for 35 yards and 2 touchdowns. Marcus Mariota threw it 50 times. That's a recipe for disaster. He had 294 yards, 2 touchdowns, an interception, 55 rushing yards. Terry McLaurin back from the dead.
No
one wanted to trade for him. No one wanted to trade for him in my other dynasty league, though. A bunch of dummies. You had a chance. Now he's going to help me in the playoffs. Just saying. 7 catches for 96 yards and a touchdown. And my ball, Zach Ertz, had 10 catches for 106. That's pretty good. Those Denver Broncos we already mentioned, they are 7.5-point favorites at Vegas. The 2-10 Raiders, 4:05 on Sunday. And Washington will be 2-point dogs at Minnesota. I like Washington in that spot. I think James Daniels comes back too. Sunday, 1:00. I really like him in that spot. If not, well, unfortunately for you guys, there's one game left. And it's the New England Patriots. And now you got to listen to me ramble about the Patriots after you had to go through all that other crap. Now you have to hear about the Pats and how they whooped the New York Giants. Beat the bag out of them. Listen, they were only favored by 7. I sat here on the show and I said, I think it's going to be a 1-possession game. The Giants love to just hang around and barely lose. Not the case. This is a route right from the start. I know you're going to have to sit through it. Pats open the game with a long drive that ended with a short field goal, 3-0. 9:17 to play in the first. Then they forced the Giants to punt, and Marcus Jones, and I called this live at the bar, by the way, and Francis will attest to this if he ever sees this. I called the punt return touchdown by Marcus Jones, 94 yards to the house, 10-0 Pats. Next drive, Giants 3 and out. 5 plays later, Drake May makes him pay. 3-yard, beautiful back shoulder fade to Kayshawn. Booty. 17-0 Pats after 1. Giants would score on their next possession very early in the second with Dart hitting Darius Slayton, and Slayton turned on the Jets. I almost forgot that he was in the league But Slayton turned on a jet, and he's on my dynasty team. You know, my receivers got decimated. He blows past the defense for 30-yard score, 17-7 Giants. That's as close as they would get. Pat's punt, force a Giants punt. Bad snap, punter loses it. Has to fall on a 13-yard loss. That sets up New England on their own 42. 6 plays later, and it's May. Hitting Kyle Williams, the third-round rookie, who only has 13 catches all season, but it's a 33-yard strike. And I don't know if you saw this, Josh. A little controversial on that touchdown. I'm willing to say that it was. His knee hit the out-of-bounds line in the end zone before both of his feet were down. It should
Really?
have been.
I thought it was a catch.
Upon further review, apparently it should not have been a catch. But everybody missed it, maybe except me. Maybe I'm just crazy. I don't know. But no, I saw this later on that night on the Twitters. And it's like, wow, they definitely missed that one. But regardless, 24-7 Pats with 3:29 left in the half. Blah, blah, blah.
I don't think it would have made a difference.
No, not really. Forced another punt with 107 left. They had another field goal. It ends up being 30-7 at the half. There was not much doing in the second half. 33-15 final. Patriots 11-2. No one saw this coming. And I mean no one saw this coming. No way, not even with the cupcake schedule that they have that I know you're going to bring up. Not even the most optimistic person I saw had them in 11 wins this year. That would be a total disaster at this point. They will hit the bye at 11-2. The Giants will hit the bye at 2-11. There was a hit on Jackson Dart along the sidelines that caused some controversy, even though it shouldn't have. What did you think of that?
I mean, it's football.
It's football. He's in bounds. He's in bounds. He's a runner. He's a runner.
I did hear a Giants fan, of course. He was saying the defender had already made up his mind that that's how he was going to hit Jackson Dart. And I kind of agree with that, because if Jackson Dart steps out, 1 second earlier, he's not stopping himself. He's still laying this kid out. So I get that. But you know what? It's still not dirty.
You guys are mind readers now, huh?
He's making a play. You running 15, 16, 17 miles per hour. You're not stopping.
Sure I am. It's the quarterback. I can't hit the quarterback. I'll get 15 yards. I can't touch him.
I don't think he cared. I think no matter what, he was sending a message: get your butt out of bounds.
Dirty Patriots are back. The big, bad, evil Patriots.
I don't think it's dirty. I think it's you saying,
not
get out of bounds.
Yeah.
I'm so sick of watching these quarterbacks tiptoe on the white line and then whine that you get hit. Get the hell out of bounds.
Well, they all watch Mahomes do it. That's why. Oh, well, if Mahomes can do it, I can do it. But no, you're Jackson Dart. Smash. That's the difference. How did the kid get concussed the first time? Probably on something stupid like that.
Exactly. So just get out of bounds. What did the 1 yard do to you? Like, you got 1 yard out of it? Who cares?
You got blown up.
Save yourself from getting absolutely smashed. And to Jackson Dart's credit, he said it wasn't a dirty hit.
No, because it wasn't. It was perfectly. If you leave the pocket with the ball, you are a runner. That's why you have to slide to get down, or otherwise they are allowed to pop you, unless it's Patrick Mahomes. Then it's different. Hey, anyway, Drake May, he won AFC Player of the Week, if you can believe it. AFC Offensive Player of the Week, going 24 out of 31 for 282 and 2 touchdowns. Those 2 touchdowns went to Kyle Williams and Kayshon Boutte, as I mentioned. Ramondre Stevenson was back in the mix. He actually handled 60% of the backfield snaps in this one. He had 40 yards on the ground and 40 yards through the air. Trevion Henderson added 67 on the ground. Hunter Henry had a nice game, 4 for 73. Stephon Diggs was barely involved. Impressions of this Patriots team. I said very nice things about your 49ers earlier. Yes, it's been a lovely, easy, soft pile of dog poop schedule. That is a fact. When they come back, they have to play Buffalo, and then they have to play Baltimore. So, well, we don't even know if Baltimore is good now, so hold on a minute.
It's not their fault. I mean, their strength of schedule is 342. Their strength of victory is 343. So it's like, those are the lowest numbers in the AFC. But that's not like, what else are you going to do? That's your job. Like in baseball, not to cross sports, but when you play bad teams, you're supposed to beat up on them. That's what you're supposed to do. So I'm not going to sit here and poop on them because they're still 11-2. You know what I mean? Like, if Denver wins this week, they'll slip down to the 2 seed. But, I don't think anyone in New England or in the NFL circle thought that these guys might be winning 13, 14 games this year.
Nope, not at all.
So if you're a Pats fan, you should be pumped.
Yeah, we are. We are. Believe me, we are. I was at Tavern 12.
I will say,
shout out to Tavern 12, and the place was pumped. the other night.
Drake May is most likely not going to win MVP. He's
Whatever.
played phenomenal.
Don't care.
Well, there are definitely Pats fans that do. So that's who I'm. That's who I'm talking to. It
That's
will
stupid.
probably be Stafford, who's had a really good year. Drake May is having a phenomenal year as well. I'm not trying to poo-poo on that. He's played great. But I do think it is going to be Stafford.
Stafford's going to get it even if it's based on just lifetime achievement. Even if it comes down to like the numbers are like almost exactly the same, Stafford still gets it.
Yeah, I think
that's fine. Drake May's 23 years old. That's fine.
Yeah, he's going to be around. So
he's going to be around. He's going to be good. He's going to be real good. Anyway, both teams go on the bye. That is it for week 13, folks. We weren't sure Josh was going to be on the show today, so I was anticipating that going a lot faster. That's okay. You get all this wonderful content. You get back and forth banter. It's just great. Stop complaining about the length of the show. You're not listening to the whole thing anyway. I know you hit that skip around button. I know you do it. It's okay. We're still here. We still want to talk football. We're going to do it. So let's talk about picks.
Let's talk about what everyone came to hear.
Let's talk about picks. Let's get in on some action here.
Because we're picking winners.
We are picking winners.
Tell them.
If you listen to us last week, you made money. I made money last week. That doesn't always happen. Both of us went 13-3.
That's 81% for the math nerds out there.
That's 13 wins and 13 correct and 3 incorrect. Anyone that's ever done a pick'em pool knows how hard that is to do. Okay?
Against the spread.
Against the spread. I might have fudged a little bit of it, but yeah. There was like one, I think, on each side where Miami didn't cover, but I still counted it, whatever. So even if we were 12-4, that's still fantastic. On the record, I am 20-10 since we started doing this. Josh is 22-8. So we know what we're doing. Guys, ready? Here's the week 14 slate. We have 4 teams on a bye. So that means, oh, and by the way,
both of our teams on a bye.
I know. What are we going to do? I'm still going to watch football. I don't know. You can't stop me.
I won't care, though. It'll be great.
Oh, I'll care because I'll have so many stupid things going on that I'll care too much. Well, I'm in a bunch of leagues where it's nut cutting time. Where I'm in 2 of them where if I don't win, I'm not going to make the playoffs. Maybe 3. So yeah, I know. I think 2, just 2. But one of them's a big money league, so I better get in. There's 7 teams fighting for 3 spots. So,
wow,
very fun. I could also be as high as the 2 seed by the time that, you know what I mean. Lots going on. But here we are, 14 games on the docket in week 14. By the way, did you know teams coming off the bye week this year are just 16-12?
Wow.
Just thought you should know that. The bye week, not a huge advantage like it used to be. Here we go. Thursday night football. Josh, we have the Dallas Cowboys are 3.5 underdogs going into Detroit, Michigan to play the Lions. Cowboys 6-5-1. Lions 7-5. What do you think of this one?
I'm taking Dallas with the points.
So Dallas +3.
Yeah, and I like I said, man, if they win this game, I think they might make the playoffs. I think they're going to win out and make the playoffs.
Winning out sounds like a tall task. I know that they don't have to play Philadelphia again, so that's a good thing. I believe they still have to play both the Giants and the Commanders again, so that would also be a good thing for them.
I think
might have a point there.
Their toughest game.
Yes, I think you're correct. I'm taking Dallas outright. So we'll for the sake of this show, we'll say that it's Dallas +3, but I'm taking Dallas outright. Next, Seattle Seahawks have not really beaten anybody impressive. This is not an impressive opponent. They are 7-point favorites at Atlanta, taking on the 4-8 Falcons.
Yeah, I think I have to go with Seattle. They're at Atlanta. You know what? They've been really good on the East Coast. I think I'm going to go with Seattle. Atlanta just struggled against the Jets. So I don't think Atlanta's defense is going to cause the trouble that Minnesota did.
Atlanta just lost and let up 27 points to the Jets. So
yeah,
give me Seattle as well. The line is a little weird and kind of freaking me out a little bit. But yeah, give me
if you could tease the 6.5, that's what I would do.
If you could tease the 6.5, okay.
You know what I mean? That way you don't get caught with the hook.
Oh yeah, nobody likes a push. But yeah, I'll still stay with the 7. 2 6-6 teams. Pittsburgh is +6 at Baltimore. in what feels like could be the grossest game of the week somehow.
I was gonna say this game is gonna be, ugh,
Second
gross.
grossest, Denver and the
I
Rams
was gonna
to be
say the
exact.
Denver game we already mentioned. No, no, no. What was it? Cleveland and
Oh, Cleveland, Tennessee. Yeah, there's some bad ones this week. All right, well, we'll get to that.
but yeah, I think it's gonna be a slog. I don't like a full touchdown here, so I think I'm gonna go with Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh covering. Pittsburgh covering. I am going to take Baltimore to cover that 6. Myself, even though I don't believe in them at all, the Pittsburgh just looks defeated right now and like they might actually just roll over,
Mm.
which is not characteristic of Tomlin teams, but they do, at least the last several years, they have been fading very hard at the end of seasons. I'll take Baltimore. I don't like the 6 either, but I'm gonna take it anyway. New Orleans, 2-10. New Orleans Saints are 9-point dogs at Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I'm going with Tampa Bay. I've also heard rumblings they're getting healthier. Uh,
They are. They are.
Evans and McMillan both had
Correct.
the practice window open this week.
That's
I mean, if
correct.
they get just one of them back this week, that could be huge for them. I'm taking Tampa Bay. New Orleans is just bad.
New Orleans is bad. He's right about that, folks. And considering I survived that survival pool, and so did my good buddy Pat last week, I am taking Tampa Bay in the survivor pool as well. Only $180 on the line there as well. So, not that I should be telling you people that, but it's legal now anyway, so who cares? Tampa Bay -9. Next one's very interesting to me. Cincinnati, 5.5-point dogs at Buffalo. Sunday at 1 o'clock. Cincinnati just 4-8. Buffalo 8-4. But I got a sneaky suspicion about this one.
Yeah, I know you're gonna probably go with Joe Burrow, but I just don't like Cincinnati's defense. Now, I don't like Buffalo's, but I mean, Cincinnati caused 5 turnovers last week. I don't think that's gonna happen this week. I think Buffalo's gonna kind of run it down their throat. I don't think they're gonna pass a lot. I think they're gonna let cook, and I think they kill him. I think it's actually like 10 point game.
Sorry, I'm just jotting down your pick for future reference. Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals are going to go into Buffalo and win this week. Next, gross. Tennessee 4-point dogs. That's it at Cleveland because Cleveland sucks too. What in the blue hell do we make of this team? Since Tennessee is, of course, 1-11, Cleveland does have 3 wins on the season.
Yeah, and Cleveland has a great defense, and Tennessee can't score. You just said they score 14 points a game.
That's correct.
I'm going with Cleveland at home. That game could be windy, messy. I'm taking Cleveland by a landslide.
Cleveland by a landslide is the correct pick, folks. I am with him on that. Next, the Rams are 9-point favorites at Arizona.
Oh, jeez,
Yeah, I'm changing mine on the fly on this one. I don't.
you mentioned the stat how like all of Arizona's losses have been relatively close.
7 of the 9 by 4 points or less.
I just LA's got to be pissed off, right? Like they have
Yes.
to be fuming right now.
Yep.
And if they lose, they drop to the 5 seed. If Seattle wins and they like they're gonna kill Arizona. They're gonna kill them. So I'm taking LA.
I think the Rams will win by 10 myself.
Yeah.
That just to be safe. I think Arizona has a weird way of hanging around. The Rams. I mean, Arizona did beat the Seahawks earlier this year. They did. They did beat the Seahawks earlier this year. I don't know. They also lost to the Titans. So I mean, but that was with Kyler Murray. But they still suck.
They do look better with Brissett though,
They
don't they?
certainly look better. It's just that they can't. They're just the defense is just letting up too many points. Rams offense is too good. Rams by 10. We both like the Rams to cover that -9. Here's another one that doesn't make sense to me. The Chicago Bears, the number 1 seed in the NFC at 9-3, are 6.5-point dogs at Lambeau Field this coming Sunday against the 8-3-1 Green Bay Packers. What do you think about that?
I think it's crazy to have a division game where you are the best team, quote unquote, in the NFC, and you're you're a touchdown dog. I mean, I see this being like, in my opinion, it should be a pick 'em.
Yep.
Because obviously Green Bay getting points or giving points because they're home. But I'm gonna go with Chicago to cover for sure.
I agree with
Win,
Chicago.
possibly, but I mean,
I I am going to take Chicago to win outright.
hmm,
But for the sake of this discussion and this show, I like the Chicago to cover that 6.5 as well. I think it's a field goal game, probably a field goal game either way, kind of to your point. Uh,
yeah,
but I think Chicago's legit. In
and
Green
especially if
Bay,
Chicago turns Green Bay over a couple times, I think it's a guarantee.
and Jordan Love hasn't really been doing it this year, but in the past he's been prone to turning the ball over. So keep an eye on that.
Hmm.
I still don't trust Green Bay, even though they just had a pretty impressive win. And I know that they're 2-0 against the Lions this year, but they also let up 40 points and had a tie in Dallas. Okay. So like don't trust the pack quite yet.
Hmm.
We basically got to pick them in this next one, Josh. Indy is 1 point favorite at Jacksonville.
Yeah, I'm taking Jacksonville.
Yep.
There's something about Jacksonville, like Duval. People have trouble playing there.
Duval.
People have trouble playing there, and if you don't have Indiana Jones healthy and Taylor, I feel like teams are focusing on him because they know Jones isn't healthy. I don't think he's going to have a great game, and I think Jacksonville's defense has proven they're pretty dang good. So I'm taking Jacksonville here.
Yep, I'm with you. Jacksonville wins this game by, I'll go 7, 8, 10 points, something like that. It's going to be gross. It's going to be a gross game. It is. Jacksonville's not winning pretty or anything. But I think that your point about Taylor and Daniel Jones being banged up is a valid one. I like Jacksonville outright, and they will take over the lead in the NFC South after that game. Next, we've got some crapbag football we have to cover. Washington, 2-point dogs at Minnesota. I think that Jaden Daniels is going to play.
Even if he doesn't, how can you take Minnesota?
I don't know. I don't
No,
know. I don't know.
you have to take Washington until Minnesota proves you they can actually do anything. The fact that they're favored in this game is mind blowing to me.
Yeah, I just think it's because the Commanders haven't won a game in like 2 months. You know what I mean? I think that's the
When
only
was the last time
reason.
Minnesota won? Carson Wentz?
No, McCarthy won his first week back,
Oh,
but
did he?
yeah, but it was ugly as it was really ugly, and it was like it's crappy. It was like 16-9 or something. Um,
Who the
I
hell
don't
did
know
he?
if McCarthy's coming back or not. I don't think it matters. Give me Washington as well. More crapback football. The Miami Dolphins travel to the New York Jets, and they are 3-point favorites in this game. Dolphins 5-7. Jets are 3-9. I am going to look up the weather report while you make your pick.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think there's supposed to be snow in the East Coast this weekend. I don't think it's gonna be great weather conditions for Tua. I'm taking New York, and I'm on the New York train right now because they're playing with some heart. So I expect them to win this game.
I agree with you. 39 degrees is too cold for the Miami Dolphins. 39 degrees is the forecasted high. No snow in the forecast, only 10% chance of precipitation as of now. But 39 degrees for the Dolphins has not worked for them since Mike McDaniel's been the coach. That is a smash the Jets. I would put the house on the friggin' 3-9 New York Jets. And I'm probably going to put a significant amount of money on that, actually. Maybe just straight up, just make it just an easy cash. Profit is profit in gambling, folks. Okay, more crap. The 10-2 Broncos take on the 2-10 Raiders in Vegas. Denver
Yeah,
7.5-point favorites.
yeah, we were talking about this off air. This has got to be
This
a
is weird.
smash Denver. This it should be like 12, 13 points in my opinion.
It should be.
Plus, the Raiders stink.
Yeah. But if you recall, it was like, what was it, 10-7 when they played in Denver?
Yeah, and that was a gross game.
That was terrible.
Gross.
It was terrible.
But what's his name? Smith got sacked 8 times, I think.
Correct.
I think Denver is going to play a little better. Not on a short week this time. I think they play much better.
So you have them covering 7.5.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I do too. All right, two interesting ones to close it out. Sunday Night Football, the 7-5 Houston Texans with their number one defense travel to Kansas City to take on the 6-6 Chiefs. Houston, 3-point dogs.
This is a really tough game.
Yes, it is.
It's so hard to say. D'Amico Ryans, ex-Niner coach. I love what he's done over there. But man, it's really hard to pick against Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, like with their season on the line. Like if they don't win this game, they probably don't make the playoffs, right? Ugh.
Not necessarily. They could sneak in as a wild card, right? If the Dolphins are still alive, they're only alive as a wild card. So I believe Kansas City would not be dead, but it wouldn't be great for them, you know?
Let's see. Right now, they they're the 10 seed right now. If they lose this game, they're going to be 6-7.
Mm-hmm.
And then Houston would have the tiebreaker on them. LA would have the tiebreaker on them. Jacksonville would have the tiebreaker on them.
So based on that, you're gonna pick Kansas City just because it's Mahomes and Reed, and they might not make the playoffs if they don't win.
If they lose this game, I think they're done. I want to pick Houston. Everything in me says to pick Houston, but I'm going to go with KC.
I'm picking Houston for all those reasons. They played Kansas City very well in the playoffs in that game where Tank Dell destroyed his entire leg on that touchdown catch. I like Houston in that game. Screw Kansas City, 6-7. Enjoy your uncharted territory. I don't give a F. Good for you. Suck it. Sit out for a year. Why don't you? Oh, by the way, the Patriots only did that one time when Brady was a starter. If it happens one time to Mahomes, that's fine with me. All right. We got one left. It's Monday Night Football, and it's the fraudulent Super Bowl champion Eagles, the ESLGLES Eagles. Please tell me you know that reference. You don't? You don't know that reference? That when the friggin' mayor of Philadelphia, the lady.
Oh yes, that's right. What, she did that last year?
It was 2 years ago. It doesn't matter. It's really funny.
I do remember.
It's great. Anyone that hasn't seen ESLGES Eagles, go look that up. That's hilarious. They're 2.5-point favorites at the Chargers on Monday Night Football.
Man, I think I have to take the Eagles here.
You. I know.
I just Herbert again broke his hand. The offensive line for my Superchargers are still is up in the air. I think I have to take Philly. I don't want to. I want to pick LA, but I have to pick Philly. I'll be happy if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I think he's right, folks. I think he's right. I would be happy if we were both wrong too, but I'm going to take Philly at that -2.5 as well, folks. It was a long show. Thanks for sticking with us. It's the Terranadome. We should be back next week. I gotta talk to my guy there because I can't really keep affording to promote this thing, but we'll talk about that later on. Josh, thanks for joining us as always, and
thank you for having me.
I don't know. Good luck at your event on Sunday. Come out to, if you're in Rhode Island, come out to the Impossible Dream, that kind of thing, right? Am I doing that right?
Yeah, well, it's already booked. We have tickets.
It's already booked. Solid. Never mind. Sold out show, folks. Sorry. Can't go. Can't get one of Josh's famous donuts. Sorry, you lose. Maybe next time. But thanks for coming on. Maybe I'll see you this weekend. Maybe not. Doesn't matter. Whatever happens, happens. Folks, tell somebody you love them today because tomorrow is not promised. Tomorrow is simply not promised. I say it at the end of every show because it's true. And check on your friends and loved ones because you never know what they're going through. We will see you back here in a week. December 11th. We're only 3 weeks out from Christmas, folks. My goodness. Where has this year gone? It's the Terranadome. We'll see you next week. Take care, everybody. And last of all, peace.
Say his name and he appears. I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry. Cause they love him in London and Paris and Tokyo, America, Scotland and Canada and Mexico. They say I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry. Joe Hendry is so prestigious. Wave your hands from side to side and say, oh, I believe in Joe Hendry.